My husband and I, 29-year-old male, 27-year-old male, went through the surrogacy process and had our son 4 months ago. We were thrilled when my sister, 31-year-old female, announced her pregnancy, and we found out we would be having children very near the same time. Our niece was born a little over 2 months after our son. My situation and my sister's closely mirror each other. Our husbands both work typical 9 to 5s with 30, 45-minute commutes. My sister is a stay-at-home mum, and I do freelance work from home. For the first 2 weeks after our son was born, the first of which my husband took off of work, we would both take partial night shifts. Once I felt like I had at least some of my bearings on parenthood, I offered to take over completely on weeknights while he does mornings before work plus weekends. It's a collaborative process, and that breakdown of parenting just made sense to me. My husband was the one leaving our home to work every day. He was the one who had to be up by a specific time and make a drive. At 4 months, we no longer have this obstacle anymore. And to be honest, I kind of miss the sweet, quiet bonding time those extra night feeds provided now that he's settled onto a nice sleep schedule and usually only wakes up once. Still, I think we got it down to almost the perfect science before we exited the newborn stage. My sister, on the other hand, is very much still in that phase and struggling. This has been a recurring problem for her from the beginning. She's been coming to me saying she's scared she's going to fall asleep holding the baby, that her husband won't help her with the night feeds, etc. I tried to give her tips since I've been through it. I suggested she let her partner take over in the evenings, around 6 to 9 p.m, so she can go to bed early and catch a few more hours, nap when baby naps, etc. She shot down everything saying that wouldn't work for them, and that she just needed her partner to do some of the night feedings. I reminded her that her husband is the one commuting in the mornings and falling asleep while driving was a very real possibility, and that I had lived through it and so could she. I then offered to watch her daughter for a few days so she could catch up on sleep. She took major offence to both of these things. She said I was belittling her experience and acting like I was a better parent. She said I couldn't truly empathise with her or give her valuable tips since she'd been pregnant, and I hadn't. And that me offering to watch my niece just felt like me saying she needed help raising her own daughter. My intentions were definitely not malicious, and I'd like some outside perspective here. Am I the jerk? Edit. I'm a man. Saw some people calling me a woman in the comments, just wanted to clarify. Small update here, but the TL doctor of it all is that I've apologised because I was definitely the jerk for those comments, even if I didn't intend to be. My sister accepted said apology, and hopefully moving forward I can truly be the listening ear she needed, and not someone who offers solutions that weren't asked for, especially when our circumstances aren't all that similar. My husband has clearly been taking on many more parenting duties than hers, and she and my niece both deserve better than that. Edit. Since poo mode has been activated, I can no longer comment without specifically messaging the mods to get them to approve said comment. I don't really feel like bothering them over and over again, so as much as I would like to continue engaging, I think I'll just leave things here. I appreciate all the feedback though. Thanks for the kind words and the knowledge lots of you have been providing. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. I'm not going to be as cruel as the other commenters, or try to belittle the fact that you're a parent because you are. But she, unfortunately, is going through more than you did. Being pregnant is exhausting. Believe me, I've done it twice. Your body isn't going through the same process as hers is. She's healing, dealing with insane emotions and hormonal changes. You're obviously going through a huge life change as well, but again, it's not on the level that she is. I'm a stay-at-home mum as well, and my husband works. I've got 2 children, 4 and 1, and with our second, he was able to help out significantly more than the first. Now, not every night, but sometimes when I got very little sleep, he would get up and heat breast milk and feed our baby at night, even when he had to work the next day. She shouldn't demand help, but she also shouldn't have to demand help. Her husband should just do it. It's his kid too. You will come to learn that being a SAHU is a whole job in of itself. Usually when my husband gets home nowadays, I go and take about 30 minutes to myself. If I wasn't able to do that, and I know some people can't, I'd be so stretched thin, it's crazy. My kids stress me out, Lowell, especially the little one. She's such a quizzical kid, into literally everything all the time. I can't keep my eyes off her for a second. Anyways, I think you should apologise. I won't call you an AH, but you were kind of wrong in your assumption. Comment 2, you're the idiot. Your situation is not even close to being the same as hers. On top of that, her partner should be helping at night. It matters not one bit that she isn't the one driving to work. Everyone handles the postpartum period differently. One person's experience is not everyone's. Some breeze right through it and some struggle. Just because you managed the way you did doesn't mean everyone can. If she has concerns about falling asleep with the baby in her arms, he should listen and help. This is a legitimate concern. As a nurse who works with postpartum mothers, I've seen it, and it's freaking devastating. And guess who will come down on her for dropping the baby because she nods off during a feed? Yep, her partner, and probably you as well, because she's a stay-at-home mum and all she has to do is take care of the baby, right? She should be getting plenty or rest during the day while the baby sleeps, right? I imagine if she can lay the baby down during the day, the last thing she feels she can do is take a nap. I know I never could. I was always doing all the things I couldn't with a baby in my arms. Show some compassion. Instead of trying to tell her what she should be doing, offer to help with some things around the house, or just let her vent and offer no suggestions. Or maybe suggest to the father of the baby to actually help at night, even if it's only for one feed. It's not forever, and it's not asking too much. Comment 3. Full offence, but yes, you're the idiot. Your situations do not closely mirror each other. Her experience has been very different, especially considering her body is still recovering from pregnancy and giving birth, which is painful and completely exhausting. Did she have a C-section or natural childbirth? Did she have tear, have stitches? These details matter. She could also be struggling with PPD, something you do not have to worry about. I don't say this to belittle you. I say this because you're belittling her. You are turning this into a competition, and it's clear you do think you're the better mother. How arrogant. It is normal to expect your husband to help with night feedings. Just because you have not needed that help, likely because you didn't give birth and have absolutely no idea what that is like, does not mean you get to pass judgment on your sister for having different needs. Every baby is different. Even siblings with the same parents can be entirely different. If you actually want to help her, stop comparing yourselves and stop acting like she's doing something wrong. Her baby and her schedule and her life are not yours, and they are not like yours. Stop that. Be supportive and kind. Be a good sister. Edit. OMFG, the fact that you're actually a man makes this so much worse. Where did you get the audacity because you took too much now? For the update, well, things have taken a turn for the worse. Just a few weeks after our last altercation, my sister's husband Tim had a serious accident at work. Some sort of machinery malfunction. It was really grim for a while there. He ended up in the ICU with major injuries. Of course, my sister was beside herself with worry, and now she's left to manage a newborn alone while Tim recovers, so I offered to help out as much as I could. Unfortunately, it seems she's still holding on to our past disagreement. When I offered to watch my niece or help with the night feedings, my sister lashed out. She accused me of taking advantage of Tim's situation to prove a point about how essential my parenting advice was. It got particularly nasty when she insinuated that my husband and I were somehow less capable or invested parents because we had used a surrogate. I've tried to keep my cool, reminding myself she's under a lot of stress, but I can't deny it stings, especially given that she knows how heartbroken we were to find out we couldn't have a child naturally. Then, as if things weren't complicated enough, the mother of our surrogate child contacted us out of the blue. She's having financial problems and asked if we could provide some additional support. My husband and I are more than willing to help, but we're wary. It's a sensitive situation and we don't want to do something that might make her feel like she's selling or giving away her child, especially given the pain we felt from our own fertility issues. So, yeah, it's been a rough month. Definitely not the joyous, new baby-filled experience we were all hoping for. Now for the comments. 1. Not the idiot. You offered to help in a difficult situation, which shows you have your sister and her family's best interest at heart. It's unfortunate that she's using this situation to bring up irrelevant issues about your parenting choices. Your choice to use a surrogate does not define your ability to parent. 2. Not the idiot. However, you might want to consider setting boundaries with the surrogate mother. It may be difficult given the emotional circumstances, but it's important to remember that you have already fulfilled your financial obligation in your surrogacy agreement. As much as empathy is needed, it shouldn't negate the fact that a contract was agreed upon and followed through. 3. Not the idiot, but it's essential to communicate clearly and honestly with your sister about the situation. It seems like there's a lot of stress and emotions are running high, which might have led to miscommunication or misunderstanding. A calm conversation could help in understanding each other's feelings and finding a solution. Now, for the next story. This is about my oldest. He has always wanted to travel the world, and he just told us that he will have his wedding in France. We thought he was joking when it first happened, because he has mentioned so many destinations at this point. I also thought it would be in at least a year, but the invites came today. It is in 4 months in France. He's looking to do a mini trip, and apparently was able to book a small church in France for the whole thing. I told him it is absurd that he thinks we would be able to go. I don't have the PTO. I have already used most of it this year. Our youngest are in school. We don't have the money to have 5 wife and 3 minor kids. People take plane trips to France, and I don't think my wife even has a passport. We got into a huge argument about it, so I want to know if we are being jerks on this. To make things clear, we didn't think it would be in France since he changed wedding ideas so many times. Also, we thought it would be fall 2024. January came out of nowhere. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. I'm from a different European country and I looked into getting married in France. For non-residents, it's actually quite difficult. You need to be resident in the country for a period of time, I believe 3 months, but may have changed. And all your documents must be translated into French and be approved by a legally qualified French solicitor. So, something doesn't add up here. Unless they are having the legal part done elsewhere and having a non-legal ceremony in France, which is presumably possible. Either way, not the idiot. If it's a destination wedding, it's usually something you get told about well in advance. At least 10, 12 months beforehand to give people a chance to get time off, save some money, etc. Comment 2. Not the idiot who ever wants a destination. Weddings should be prepared that loved ones can't attend. Getting time off, finding accommodations, getting paperwork done and being able to afford it are no small obstacles. ETA. Thank you all for this many upvotes. Looking at this, I think attending a destination wedding costs more than my whole wedding in April. Darn, some people are crazy. Comment 3. Not the idiot. Can't he come home and have a small wedding for close family, but only if he's going to travel from where I assume USA? Sending an invitation 4 months before wedding feels a bit tight. Has he known his assuming wife or partner long? When he is taking such a quick wedding, I'm curious how he expected someone to travel across the globe on a short notice. Now, for the update. Well, Reddit, it's been a wild ride, but I'm happy to say it's all come together rather beautifully. The day after my last post, my spouse and I sat down and had a long, serious discussion. We acknowledged our fears and concerns, but decided that we couldn't let them stand in the way of our eldest child's happiness. We knew we had to make this work somehow. So we started planning. First, we approached our respective employers. There was a bit of grovelling involved, but they were surprisingly understanding. We were able to negotiate a slightly extended leave and even received unexpected financial help for the trip from my spouse's company. It's the first time our jobs have ever been this supportive, and we were very grateful. As for the younger kids, we decided to turn this into an educational experience. We spoke with their teachers and managed to arrange for some assignments they could complete while we're in France. The teachers loved the idea. They're even going to turn it into a class project. Now the kids are thrilled about the trip, and they're looking forward to learning about French culture. The financial constraints were a major concern, and we had to make some sacrifices. We cut out all non-essential spending and started saving every penny we could. We didn't manage to save enough for a luxurious trip, but we did scrape together enough for the basics. As for the rest, a very generous family friend heard about our predicament and offered us a low-interest loan. We were hesitant at first, but after understanding the terms, we gratefully accepted. As for the passport situation, it was easier than we anticipated. My spouse never had a passport because there was never a need for one. We rushed the application and by some miracle it arrived in time. The wedding was an absolute dream. Our child was radiant, the setting was breathtaking, and we were able to be there for it all. The joy on our child's face when they saw us, I can't even describe it. The sacrifices, the stress, the planning, it was all worth it. So, here we are back at home, feeling a little bit jet-lagged but filled with happiness. It's not been easy, but we've learned so much. We've learned that we can overcome our fears when we need to, that sometimes you have to make sacrifices for the people you love, and that kindness can come from the most unexpected places. And most importantly, we've learned that no matter where our children decide to get married, whether it's in our backyard or halfway across the world, we'll find a way to be there, because in the end, that's what family does. Now, for the comments. 1. Not the idiot. It's clear that you went to great lengths to ensure you could attend your eldest child's wedding. It's commendable that you were able to negotiate with your employers, take advantage of unexpected assistance, and even turn this into an educational experience for your younger children. You've shown that family truly is the most important thing, and you were willing to make sacrifices for them. 2. Not the idiot. You've demonstrated a beautiful example of resilience and love. The fact that you received a low-interest loan from a close friend shows the strength of your relationships and the trust people have in you. Your commitment to your family, despite the financial constraints, is admirable and shows a lot of character. 3. Not the idiot. The steps you took to overcome your obstacles and the sacrifices you made for your family are truly inspiring. The most significant part is the lesson learned, the importance of kindness and the strength of familial bonds. It's clear that this journey was about much more than just attending a wedding. It was about family and being there for each other, even when it's challenging. Now, for the next story. I, 30s female, got married to my husband, 30s male, this July. Our wedding theme was the fairy court. We only invited close family and friends and asked that they wear jewel-toned dresses and suit jackets. The wedding was in a forest. We also took photos with almost everyone, not just the wedding party, which only consisted of a best man and a maid of honour. My sister-in-law, mid-20s, shows up in a blush pink dress and her boyfriend in a cream suit jacket. She thought that would make her stand out, I guess. She is an attention seeker according to everyone but her mum. Joke's on her, my dress was gold and shimmery. And my husband was in an emerald green jacket. Also, I was wearing a full-on crown, so there was no mistaking who the bride was. When the photographer asked me if she should Photoshop them a bit to make them blend in more, since we went with a dramatic photo style that emphasized the deep jewel tones and the darkness of the forest, I told her not to bother. Make them look nice, but don't change the colors or anything like that. Well, I received the photos 4 days ago. I posted some on my Instagram and most on Facebook, since most of our older relatives use it exclusively, and my sister-in-law and her boyfriend looked so out of place they were almost washed out. Then she had the nerve to comment on my post in a very passive-aggressive way, something along the lines of me washing her out to make myself stand out more. I replied by saying that she washed herself out by ignoring the wedding theme. She deleted her comment, but then we met last night at my in-laws. It was an accident, not planned or anything. She said pretty much the same thing, and I repeated that she was washed out because the photo style we chose emphasized deep colors, and that's why we asked people to wear jewel tones. It escalated and ended with me telling her that she looked terrible in our photos, her complaint because she was a jealous woman who thought she could upstage me with a $30 dress the color of diluted Pepto. She started crying and left. Now my mother-in-law says I owe my sister-in-law an apology for publicly shaming her, as well as insulting her looks. So am I the jerk? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Everyone sucks here. Holy shoot. Do you all not have anything real to worry about? When you complicate the dress code to tell people what colours to wear, not everyone is going to comply. You had the choice to be gracious about it. She had the choice to shut up and not complain about how she looked in pictures that probably won't see the light of day after you settle into married life. Instead, you both chose to indulge in mean girl energy last seen in the 7th grade cafeteria. Absolutely no one is going to remember or care what anyone wore to your wedding once those pictures stop making the rounds on social media. Both of you need to calm the egos, and you need to remember what the day is supposed to be about. A celebration of marriage, not a meltdown over a dress. You owe each other an apology, no winners here. Comment 2. Not the idiot A. You did not insult her looks. You told her that the colour of her dress was a bad choice and that you were aware she chose it to stand out from everyone else. B. You already told them the dress code and they chose to do their own thing. Whilst I'm not necessarily for imposed dress codes at weddings outside of the regular expectations, smart casual / cocktail / black or white tie, and no white LOL, the fact that they look washed out in the photos is down to their choice of clothing, not the photographs or the photographer or you. Comment 3. Not the idiot. She fricked around an amp, found out. Sister-in-law an amp. Her boyfriend tried upstaging you and amp, your husband at your own wedding. The photographer offered to Photoshop them and amp. You refused on the grounds that the photos remain honest. You didn't do anything wrong. Don't apologise to what appears to be the golden child. She'll eventually stop talking to you altogether, so that's a win-win. Congratulations on your wedding. Now for the update. I'm afraid things have taken a turn for the worse. In the last month, my relationship with my sister-in-law has deteriorated even more. She didn't take kindly to the insult I threw at her, and unfortunately, it seems she's been holding a grudge. Last weekend she ended up throwing a party, and true to her nature she went all out on a pastels and pinks theme, fully knowing how much I detest pastels. They clash horribly with my fiery redhead complexion. As a peace offering I decided to partake in her theme and show up in a pastel blue dress, a colour that particularly washes me out. During the party she insisted on having a photo shoot for all attendees. I didn't think much of it until she shared the photos online and tagged everyone. There I was, looking like a ghastly spectre, amidst a sea of glowing pastel-clad guests. The comments started rolling in and they weren't pretty. To make matters worse, my mother-in-law has been feeling unwell recently. And amidst all this, my sister-in-law has been painting me as the main antagonist, causing unnecessary stress for her. My husband is caught in the middle and it's putting a strain on our still-new marriage. At work, things haven't been smooth sailing either. Some of my colleagues who were in attendance at both the events have started making snide comments and poking fun at the colour clash catastrophe and pastel debacle. It's mortifying and is beginning to affect my professional life. I've tried reaching out to my sister-in-law to mend things, but she is adamant that I need to apologise publicly, just as she claims I had humiliated her during my wedding. I'm at a loss for what to do next. I never intended for the situation to escalate this much over a colour clash, but it feels like it's spiralled out of control and is causing harm to my personal, familial and professional relationships. Now for the comments. 1. Not the idiot. It's clear that your sister-in-law put you in an uncomfortable situation by choosing a party theme that she knew you would not enjoy. Despite this, you still made an effort to respect her wishes and attend the party, even wearing a dress that didn't suit you. It's not right for her to demand a public apology when she played a crucial part in creating this situation. 2. Not the idiot. It's your sister-in-law's responsibility to address any misunderstandings publicly, especially since she was the one who shared the photos online. She needs to make it clear that the negative comments and ridicule are uncalled for. The fact that she's putting her ego before your mental health and the well-being of her own mother shows a lack of maturity and empathy on her part. 3. Not the idiot. You should not be punished at work for a personal issue. Your colleagues are crossing a line by mocking this situation, which is none of their business. As for your sister-in-law, she should be trying to ease the tension, considering it's affecting not just your personal life, but also your professional life. If she insists on a public apology, perhaps you should consider seeking advice from a third party or a professional mediator. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.